Late Night Health continues. I'm Mark Alyn. Coming up in about 10 minutes or so, we'll spend some time with Robert Clancy, as we always do, the author of The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Soul. And then we're going to talk with a cancer researcher. I mean, this man is an internationally acclaimed cancer researcher turned spy novelist. I couldn't pass it up. I'm sorry. It just struck me as being really interesting. How do you go from test tubes to a typewriter? I don't know. We'll find out a little bit later on in today's show. Right now, we are talking about relationships with the developer creator of Relationships 901. Visit them at relationships901.com. Steven Riznyk. Steven, tell us more about the research that you were doing and some of the stories that you've heard about what people are looking for.
Yeah, one of the things that I wanted to share with your audience is this concept of having a list. I'm going to share a story. I'll be brief, but I think people will get the message because everybody has their list. They have their non-negotiables and all the other extras that people have to meet. And I think this is actually impeding their social life. I had a friend of mine call me. She said, I run a charity for abused and abandoned dogs, to which actually at least 25% of the profits from R901 will be going. But I was running this, and, we threw large events with, 500 people. And she said, you must know a lot of people and a lot of men who are single. And I said, yeah, I happen to know a few. She said, I need you to match me up with someone. And I said, what are you looking for? And she listed out, no joke, 31 things. I thought, oh, my God. I said, you got the wrong number. I said, this is not what I do. I said, I was hoping for, maybe 3 or 4, but not 31. She said, well, I need to have these to be happy. Well,
wow.
long story short, she didn't buy into my theory. I tried to explain to her that, that maybe that's why you've been single for the last 3 years and you're home every Friday and Saturday, but didn't go anywhere. Lo and behold, she called me about 8 months later, and I didn't know where this was going, but I did pick up the phone. And she said, I want to thank you. And I said, what for? She said, I met a guy, absolutely not my physical type, not my any type, to be honest with you. I wouldn't have given him the time of day. But I tried to have the open mind that you mentioned. And although he just got transferred to another country on business, I just had 6 of the most incredible months of my life with him.
Wow.
And her quote that she's given me permission to use is, the person who makes you happy is the person who makes you happy. Not what you may think it is. It's the person who makes you happy, period.
I was thinking, when you were talking about the list, I was thinking about when you're expecting a child and you're a couple and you're expecting a child. I only had one list, one item on my list. I wanted the child to be healthy. Shorter lists are better than a long list when you're looking for a relationship?
Absolutely. I mean, at the end of the day, you want to have you're going to have a couple of non-negotiables, like, you may want somebody with your religion or you're this or you're that. But at the end of the day, even if he doesn't or she doesn't have your religion or doesn't have your this or that or doesn't have an education's important to you or whatever, like for example, one of my non-negotiables, I love animals. I could never get along with somebody who hunts animals for sport. It's just not my cup of tea.
Right.
So that's a definite non-negotiable. But in terms of the person, give everybody a chance, because I can honestly tell you, there's another quick story. I was in L.A. A friend of mine was a film producer. He used to live in L.A. And he had gone online to meet somebody, and he met the girl, and they had a date. But she didn't think that he was her physical type, although he was casting a film and was looking for somebody like this, and she did part-time acting. Had she given him a chance, he may have, I don't know for sure, but he may have cast her in the role, or at least given her a big advantage over everybody else. But she literally walked out after 15 minutes of the date, said, we're both wasting each other's time.
Dating is still got to be difficult. I haven't been on a date in a number of years, but I would imagine that dating itself is hard. You're trying to impress somebody, you're trying to get to know somebody, you're nervous. What would be the number one piece of advice that you would give to somebody on their first date?
The best advice that I can say is try to remember a time when you met somebody, and it doesn't have to be somebody you dated, but somebody or something, maybe it's your dog, that makes you incredibly happy, that puts that smile on your face, and walk in and assume that this person has all those good qualities, and then just be yourself.
Wow. Being yourself, I think, is the most important part. Listen, as you're listening, and you're listening late at night and thinking, oh my God, I really want somebody in my life, I encourage you to visit relationships901.com, relationships901.com. If you missed that, go to latenighthealth.com. There'll be a whole explanation about the program, the videos on our website. And I know from talking to Steven that you might be able to figure out the perfect match for you. Steven, thank you very much. Look forward to talking to you again. Hold on a second, okay?
Absolutely. It's been a pleasure.
Robert Clancy comes up next, and then we're going to be talking with Dr. Curtis Harris, the author of High Hand. It's a spy thriller, but in real life, he's a cancer researcher. All that and more coming up on Late Night Health. Don't go away. Visit us at latenighthealth.com.